Can I taste your juice?
Well, hey folks, P. Basardo. In this video right here, because I kind of hinted at this video a few videos back when we were doing the China visit part 2, right, that there might be a fourth installment of that video, and that is kind of this video. I've also been hinting in the videos and online as well that I will have a special guest here to talk about some things in China and some things that are very important right now. So let's bring out that very special guest right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're busy right now. Okay. All right. Okay. Hello, my fellow. What is going on?
Hello, my fellow members.
What's up, buddy?
See, we kind of did this whole live thing before, so
That was great. If you've seen this on Facebook or if you haven't seen it, go back on Phil's page to see it because it was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life.
There is a very, very funny part in that that video with that live thing hilarious. That we just did. So, welcome back to the Man Cave, buddy.
Thank you, and I have to thank you for your hospitality. And we had a wonderful Italian dinner again earlier. With these huge meatballs and great pie and great friendship and good wine. And
yes, it was really good. And as a matter of fact, you keep reminding me of those meatballs and all the garlic that we just had. That's why I had to light a candle over there.
I do. Like, we're probably gonna have to pause this video 3 or 4 times in the middle.
We interrupt this video for a short bathroom break. Okay. So, where were we just a little while ago?
It sucks that I have to come here and we have to shoot a depressing video. I mean, there is a lot of depression amongst the industry, but I hate that we can't just come here and have some fun. So we have to have a...
Now, you have to make sure you come a little bit closer because otherwise everybody's think my head is bigger than yours. And clearly,
I mean, it is.
Your head is just, it's enormous. There we go. All right, that's good right there. Okay, but before we get to the depressing and the serious stuff, here's your phone.
Oh, thank you very much.
Most used phone in the industry right there. We should talk about Toronto a little bit.
Yes, Canadian Vaping Expo in Toronto. We just got back from there.
Right, and for all of those folks who expected to see me there today, Sunday, I do apologize because I did say I was going to be there for part of the day Sunday. But we thought it kind of important to have the opportunity to get him back to Rochester to shoot this video. So I do apologize for that. And to all of those vendors, because this happens at every show, and I never say anything about it, but I will in this video, because I say to a lot of vendors, I'll be there, I'll get there, I promise, I'll be back. And then, things come up and we get swamped, or we have a talk to do and that doesn't happen. So I do apologize to those vendors, but hopefully the next time, okay? So there's that, but there were some good things at the show.
A lot of great things. Well, number one, just a lot of really nice people, and it has always been our experience, especially going to new places, meeting vapors. Everybody's really friendly. We had a lot of nice chats. I really liked the event. It was organized well. They had these breakout sessions with industry testing, liquid testing, regulations in Canada, different provinces, what's going on. And they had a Q&A session set up for us in a private room, so we're kind of away from the loudness of the event and the DJs, and it went very well. It was supposed to last 35-40 minutes, and we were there for 2 hours.
It was about two hours.
So a lot of good questions, though.
The questions are fantastic, and for those open Q&As that we do together, it works out really well. And I've said this so many times before, because I can handle a lot of the tech questions and a lot of the my ideas about vaping and different atomizers and different devices. But when it comes to the advocacy questions or the political questions or the regulation questions, I'm not the expert in those questions. So to have a guy like this sitting next to me able to handle all of those questions, and especially lately, I don't say a whole lot at the Q&As because a lot of questions about advocacy and FDA, a lot of fear, right?
Yeah, overall it was a great event. Oh, I forgot the lady that we met at the Q&A session that had that shirt. I mean, what an
I forgot it too, and I have it listed right here too. Girl with shirt. So we did the Q&A session, which I thought, again, went really well. But a woman comes up to me, and I tell you what, this really, I get emotional again. But this was really cool, and it meant a lot to me. A woman comes up to me with a shirt on, and she goes, "Thank you so much for what you do." She said that the Q&A was great, and I start reading her shirt, and her shirt says, and I had to look down here because it says, "Do you not understand? Do you not get it? This is not fun and games. This is life and death." And she actually quoted the rant and had the rant put
that
on
was
her shirt.
amazing. I had to do a double take. I took a couple of pictures
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
probably seeing now. But when she came, she said, "Look at my shirt," and I was like, I had to do a double take. I was like, "Didn't isn't that what you wrote on your Facebook that day?" And it was. I mean, it was amazing to see that and
Yeah,
see how much a Facebook post can influence
yeah.
people. But it also goes to show out there's a lot of people like minded that believe that this is a life saving industry, and it was touching. It really
It
was.
was very, very touching. And as a matter of fact, we're calling her lady with the shirt, girl with the shirt, and I
Yeah.
hate that because I'm so bad with names. But and I told you to contact me. Okay, so if you are watching, do contact me
Yes.
because I want to send you something.
And I want to
Okay?
apologize for Phil touching your butt too.
I did.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
because he was taking the picture. he was taking the pictures, and I'm trying to stretch out her shirt so you could read it, so it wasn't bunched up. And like I'm accidentally brushing her her butt, and her husband is standing right there. And I kept going, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And he's going, "You have my permission. Don't worry about it. You have my permission."
You certainly took a lot of time to adjust that shirt. But it's funny that Phil gets this rant put on a shirt, and me forever. Everything that I've done in this industry will be known for the color pink. Everybody comes up to me, asks me why I'm wearing pink. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a
You're welcome.
great
Yeah,
job.
all that time, all that effort, all that advocacy. Dimitri Pink.
But they had a really nice event Friday night. That was the Heroes Award.
That was
the CBA,
fantastic.
so
You know, I would so love to see that at more events. So
Yes.
it was a Heroes Award. Okay, so it was what they call Heroes in Advocacy. Okay, so folks who really donate a lot of time, effort, and energy into advocating for vaping, they kind of recognize those folks and they brought them up on stage and they had a little award for them. Dimitri and I were honored to be presenters at that event, and I thought that was really good. I thought that was really
It
good.
was touching. It was Bob Lewis had a wonderful speech that almost brought tears to everybody
I mean,
in the room.
there were a couple people that were crying.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. It was including you.
a little bit. Yeah, I get emotional at these things.
He does
yeah.
have a sensitive side to him.
Yeah.
But it was just it's wonderful to see advocates come in the room. No matter who got the award, I think everybody that was in that room deserved the award, and probably hundreds or thousands more that were not in that room. But that was not the point. The point is to bring somebody together and just appreciate the work that they do, small or large. If you have your heart into advocacy, you should be recognized.
Right, and you know what? Every one of the people who got an award said. Every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't deserve this.
Absolutely, yes.
It's just so that's so
It,
amazing.
it was
and-
it was great, and congratulations to Sean and the CVA that organized and put together such a great gala.
Fantastic show.
Yeah,
It was. It
it's
was a
good.
gala. I mean, it was really nice. Little dress up, nice room, hors d'oeuvres,
Uh-huh.
right? Drinks. It was really well done.
And we were very hungry, by the way. We didn't know it was not gonna have any dinner. So after a while, the lady with the hors d'oeuvres was just dropping off the plates on our table.
Well, I told the girl to take care of him. I said,
Yeah.
my man's very hungry, so
Yeah,
we got
we
to
were.
take care of him. And of course, I have to, apologize to Shay. Oh wait, I mean
Shay.
Shay. I had to give Shay. Is it Sinus? Is that her last name?
Sinus, yeah.
Sinus. Okay, at least I got her last name right.
We
So
could have screwed that up. Too,
yeah,
to be
so
honest.
you're reading the award and you have no idea what name is coming up and you have no idea what's coming up. You're just kind of reading it on the fly, and I got the Shay's name and I pronounced it as Shy, and I will never live it down.
Yeah, well, it's written SHAI, so I can see
Kinda
how
like
you're
shot,
going through
right?
the script,
Okay.
and yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there was
And we
that.
saw Paul from Inikin there. Inikin was
Oh.
extremely involved in this.
Yeah, Anakin was very involved. Anakin, so they were part of one of the breakout sessions, right? So Paul presented a lot of the testing that they're doing over there at Anakin to kind of, I guess, prep for what's coming.
Yeah, and TBD.
Right, TBD, and I do commend them for doing
Yeah.
that. I mean, they're putting a lot of testing into their. Really, I mean, this was going so good.
It was.
It's probably a telemarketer.
We're in a.
Should we get it? You think my wife will get it?
I'll get it.
No, you gonna get it? Go ahead, answer the phone. See who it is. Let's find out who this caller is. Is it an important call?
Phil Busardo residence. Hello. Apria Healthcare.
Oh,
Para español oprima
no, just hang up the phone.
You don't want me to talk to
No, let me see. Hello?
No, it's just a recording.
Oh, it's a recording. Jesus Christ! I hate telemarketers. You know who's good with telemarketers? Russ.
Yeah, he's very
Click Bang
good.
Radio.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So where were we? We were talking about Inikin. So
Yeah.
Inikin was presenting, a lot of facts and testing information that they're doing on their products. I do commend them on that. And they gave the CVA they
10.
joined
Yeah.
CVA and they gave them a $10,000 check
Mhm.
in support of what they're doing up there in Canada.
Yeah.
And I think that's fantastic. You know, Innikin is a company that we see involved a lot in vaping over here. You know, they're
Mhm.
part of Sevia, which we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Mhm.
But I do have to point one thing out, right? Paul's hair looks terrific.
He looked
I mean, do you
very
guys,
professional.
do you guys remember what Paul's hair looked like? And then we're going to come back here and we're going to take a look at Paul's hair now. Apparently, Paul's hair has been deemed a tobacco product, so he had to get rid of it all. Yeah, Paul looks great.
Between me and you, I think he went to one of those extreme makeovers. But he looked very. I like him without the.
I think he looks fantastic, and he's
Good
probably
job,
he's probably a lot more respected in China now too.
Probably, and all over the world. I mean, but
every time he broke that hair out, you would see James and George go.
Yeah, it's really nice, and I think that a lot of vapors, you know, because we're not so mainstream yet, so a lot of vapors don't see what's going on in Canada and how these Chinese manufacturers are contributing in different causes. And I think it's unfair that we categorize all the Chinese companies. There's good companies and bad companies. There's good companies and bad companies in the U.S. There's good and bad companies in the EU. Everywhere, just like there's good and bad people everywhere, no matter what the color of your skin is. So I think that it's unfair to categorize and throw everybody on the same bus. And there's a lot of companies that are contributing financially and doing a lot of stuff for the industry, and certainly Innikin is one of them.
Absolutely. Should we talk about lobster a little bit?
Oh my God, this was just a once in a lifetime dinner for me.
I have never eaten so much lobster in one sitting. I never thought I would hear these words come out of my mouth. Please, no more lobster. So we got to hand it to Sam Tam, I believe it is Sam Tam from Pacific Smoke and 12 Monkeys E-Liquid. He kind of had a whole bunch of people, you know, his entire team, some of the VIPs at the event, some of the CVA members,
some of his customers,
the customers, you and me, some of my friends, my wife, and they brought out for every one of the tables he had, and he had 5 tables, right? A 70-pound tray of lobster. It was a mountain of lobster.
It was.
As a matter of fact, while we were eating, because Sam was sitting directly across from me, I didn't see him for about a half an hour until it started to go down.
It was
just amazing. So thank you guys so much for that. That was amazing. That was really amazing.
I literally had lobster coming out of my eyeballs. It was just unbelievable. We just couldn't stop eating. It was fantastic.
It was unbelievable, and there was so much left. Oh my God! You know, if we wouldn't get stopped at the border, I would have.
I wish we could have taken the whole thing back. I could have eaten it for 3 days.
So that's Toronto pretty much in a nutshell. You know, I don't have a whole lot of photos.
And it was my first trip to Canada as well too, so I certainly appreciate the hospitality and inviting me up there.
That was your first trip to Canada?
Yes, because every time they have the vape cans and all that's usually in July, early August when I'm on vacation with my family, and I've never been able to make one. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
I'm learning something new. Did you learn how to say A?
I did, and a boot, and it was cold as hell too. I mean, what the hell happened there? I thought it was going to snow at some point.
Even here right now, when we were driving back from the event, it was hail.
What is going on?
Are you recording? Why is it hailing?
I don't know.
This is exactly why I want to move to Florida.
It's May. What is going on? This is crazy.
So that's Toronto.
Yes.
Let's get into some of the serious stuff here, right? And I have some questions here, and I'm sure you're going to just go off. And please be passionate about this.
Well, I always am when I talk about vaping, and even when the live session that we did earlier, I saw some questions and some loopholes that people were trying to find, and it gets me upset. Because ultimately, I'm going to say this right off the bat, and I'm probably going to say it a couple of times through this video. We should stop trying to find loopholes and put this industry underground. Underground is no future for tobacco harm reduction. We should try our best and fight hard, bleed, sweat, do everything in our power to legitimize this industry and make these products available the way that we're enjoying them now. And that's why millions of us have quit smoking with them, because we do have that availability. So let's stop with the loopholes. Let's try to make it legit. One
of the things that I hate is a comment I get a lot, and I hear it a lot. And we even saw it in the stream there. Is hoard your e-liquid, hoard your devices,
stockpile,
stockpile, and let's buy up all the nicotine. And oh my, it is such a selfish, short-sighted opinion and view. Because I think, you know, as vapors moving forward, I'm going to be fine. Dimitri's going to be fine. A lot of you guys are going to be fine. but it's the millions of smokers that I do this for that aren't going to have access to these products, and lives are going to be at stake, right? So that's not the attitude. It's the attitude that you might want to have for yourself, but it's a really really selfish attitude to have, I
And
think.
let's not forget about 80% of this industry that's not online, that doesn't watch these videos, that doesn't get involved in the vape shows and Facebook and the social networking of vaping. 80% of this industry does not exist here. They vape just to stay off cigarettes. And how about those folks? How about those folks that don't know somebody that can meet down in the corner to get a 30 mil of liquid like we do? So I think it's unfair for a huge portion of public health.
My,
And
my,
that is the key.
My mother doesn't know what's going on with vaping, other than the fact that she loves her Endora, and I send her coils every now and then.
Yes,
right?
but she changes like twice a year.
Twice a year. I really wish she would change her coil. I go home and I vape my mother's Endora. I'm like, oh dear God, Mom, change your coil. It's just so bad. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. So we should probably jump into to Sevia first, okay?
Yes,
right?
yes. I think there's a lot of confusion again here with the live chat. It's great that we had the live chat so we can see some of these questions that are coming in as well too. What are the Chinese doing to save vaping?
They're not doing anything.
Nothing. So let's give you a little background on Sevia. Last year during our trip to China, Sevia was formed in China. It is the Shenzhen Electronic Vaporizer Industry Association. It was led by the Big Four: Kanger, Aspire, Inniken, and Smoke. And what we did back then is we asked Sevia, because there are not enough studies on electronic cigarettes, we asked them to fund a study that was peer-reviewed and published a couple months ago by Dr. Farsalinos on the efficiency and consistency of nicotine delivery. And they were kind enough to fund that study. The study was published. It was fantastic. It was really good for us. It was a positive step showing that the open systems are just as good as delivering nicotine, better than the closed systems that the government is trying to throw us back to in 2007. So as the year progressed, we kept warning them, and a lot of the friendships that me and Phil have created in China, warning them that the FDA regulations are coming. Folks, we've known about this since they were first announced back in 2014, so let's not act surprised on what came. So we were invited there in January to speak at a Sevia with the goal of forming an association in the United States that's going to represent the Chinese manufacturers here and also guide them where to financially assist us in the fight. In January, me and Phil went to China, did a conference in front of 100 plus manufacturers. And it was really funny because the entire presentation that I did on the FDA deeming regulations and what could possibly happen.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, not only did it happen, but it was actually the first time that I saw the presentation, right? And it was a worst case scenario, and the worst case scenario has happened at this point. But it was the first time I saw it, and I listened to what he was saying, and I went from this to that to thinking to myself, we're.
Yeah.
I mean, I use the phrase that he uses all the time.
Yeah.
But even in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, it can't get that bad. There's no way it can get that bad. And sure enough, here we are. Right?
Exactly what we showed there with the PMTA, and that pathway happened. And some of the companies took it seriously. Kanger, Inniken, Smoke, and Aspire.
Yep.
They funded Sevia USA, which is the chapter of Sevia from China being represented here in the United States. We were honored to be leading. Me and Phil have been leading this association here in the United States, and we began a nonprofit trade association in DC, and they've actually funneled money already for us to participate in the fight and fund litigation against the FDA, which we're going to need, but also fund various groups that we believe that need financial assistance, such as CASA, which is the Consumer Advocates Group, and also the American Vaping Association, Gregory Conley, that does a lot of work on a very small budget. So we're going to be funneling money into those organizations, along with working with VTA, which Sevia is a member, the Vapor Technology Association, on a federal level to do legislation work to help our products. And ultimately, wherever we see a need for the Chinese manufacturers to assist, that's where Sevia USA money is going. A couple of things here. Not every Chinese manufacturer has participated in this, for whatever reason.
We should call the names out again, right? So who is involved right now with Sevia USA, or the original Sevia and the Sevia USA? It's Inniken, it's Kanger, it's Aspire, and it's Smoke, okay?
Right.
And there's a big name that's missing out of that list, and that's Joytech, right? So I mean, at this point, are more Chinese manufacturers, have they contacted you? Are they trying to get involved? Where are we there?
Since the FDA regulations were announced, and obviously a lot of the Chinese manufacturers got scared, we've had contact from 3 companies, and I don't want to announce them yet because sometimes there's interest, but if there's no money there, I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm not going to give you the promotion that because you don't deserve it. But we've had contact from 3 manufacturers. They're not Joytech, but other 3 smaller manufacturers there to join up. And if they do, obviously, facebook.com/SeviaUSA, you can see who's a member there, or SeviaUSA.org is our website where you can see all the manufacturers that are participating. And now you might say...
Also, all of these Sevi announcements do get put on tasteyourjuice.com.
Yes,
right?
and everything
Okay.
goes on tasteyourjuice.com as well, too. So you might say that we're showing favoritism to some of these companies. You might say that, oh, these companies are paying us to say this. No, this is facts, and what we're telling you is honest. These are the companies that we have seen financially put money into the fight as it stands during this video while we're shooting this video.
Right.
And if it changes, we're certainly going to update you. And another question that we have to ask as well, along with Sevia, is what are the companies doing here? What are the companies that you buy your products from here in the United States doing? So let's be fair in assessing this fight. People say China has a lot to lose, but guess what? We have a lot to lose too.
Right.
150,000 jobs in this country that depend on this product. So yes, the companies here have a lot to lose too. So just as you're demanding from the Chinese manufacturers, be demanding from your suppliers here as well to participate.
Right, and I don't think we're saying that the manufacturers, the companies, the shop owners, we're not saying that they're not going to do anything here in the States, but we haven't heard anything yet.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Now there is currently I don't want to say a coalition. It's just a movement to file a lawsuit. Already one company has Nicopure / Halo.
Right. That's the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Because we saw some questions like, what is Halo doing? But Halo is part of Nicopure, obviously. They filed their first lawsuit in federal court against these deeming regulations with some really good key points and angles. There's going to be Teveca that's going to file a lawsuit. There's going to be other companies, I'm sure, that are going to file lawsuits. But us as an industry, I believe that we need to come together and file a lawsuit. And that's what we've done with Keller and Heckman and Azim Chowdhury. He has been doing groundwork on this 3 months ago behind the scenes. In fact, I was involved 3 months ago while we knew that these FDA deeming regulations were going to come out. Mitch Zeller was very specific, and he said that we will have deeming regulations out in 2016, as they were. And so we've kind of laid the groundwork 3 months before, leading up to this day where we're going to file this lawsuit. And this lawsuit is really an industry lawsuit. We have AIMSA that is assisting. We have the Right to Be Smoke-Free Coalition that's assisting, which is the same group that sued the state of Indiana for their onerous and burdensome regulations there. We have various companies that have committed financially. Mountain Oak Vapors, Niquid. I can go on and on. There's literally hundreds so far that have committed to the cause. Obviously, until we see the money, coming in,
Right.
will be announced pretty soon. But this is what the lawsuit that everybody needs to get behind. The more people that we have behind this lawsuit, the better it's going to be, the better it's going to look on paper. I think we have a really strong case, and more details will come out in the next few days. But there will be a link in the description here to one of the websites that's collecting the money. 100% of these proceeds go directly to the attorney. And it's not one association that's behind it. Let's stop trying to take this baton and lead and show, hey, look, this is what we're doing. We all need to be able to back this litigation effort along with legislative work that we're going to do. It has to be a 1-2 punch, a combination to stop these ridiculous FDA regulations. And Sevia has committed a huge financial amount to this lawsuit as well.
Right. So I have I have a list of questions, and these
Yes.
questions aren't necessarily in order.
Okay.
But I just starred one, okay, because I know how important this one is, right? So for a long time, we've heard about HR 2058,
Right.
okay? And HR 2058 is to change the grandfather date,
Correct.
correct? So tell people a little bit more about HR 58, because now what we're hearing about is this Bishop Cole amendment.
Yes.
Okay, and I know I was confused between the two as well. I thought they were the same thing, but they're not the same thing, right? So let's let people know what
Yeah.
the difference is and what they mean.
And I've taken some notes here because I want to make sure that everybody understands exactly where we stand on the predicate date. These opinions are obviously mine, and but I want you to understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's based on all the information that we've received so far with moving the predicate date. So HR 2058 was introduced last year, and it was just a bad strategy. It was asking for the predicate date just to be changed with no other stipulations, with no other regulations, or no other self-regulations from the industry. and it didn't get much traction. It currently has 53 co-sponsors. They're all Republican, and it appears that it has stalled. Actually, it has stalled since last year. There has been no movement.
Okay, now my videos are known to be long. This is going to be a long video, but I want to assume that the people who are watching this video know nothing about this. Okay, so let's assume that. What does the predicate date mean?
Correct. So the predicate date means that based on these FDA deeming regulations, the agency, the FDA and the CTP, has said that Congress has told them that these have to go back to 2007. So basically, any product that's on the market after 2007 has to adhere to these regulations. Any product that was on the market before 2007 is grandfathered in and basically does not have to go through the PMTA.
Okay,
So-
and now for those products, okay, it's not similar products, it's not kind of like products, it's the product. Correct?
Exactly. All experts and all litigators and attorneys that I have spoken to said that the substantial equivalency path is impossible for our industry because there's no way that we can follow a substantial equivalency act with this product with something that was on the market before 2007. It was basically like taking a smartphone and saying this is substantially equivalent to a bag phone. There's absolutely no way that it would pass down that pathway.
Okay.
So the predicate date is extremely important because if it's changed, it means that all the products that we know as now would not be affected because the date would be changed to when the effective date of the regulations are. So August 8th, 2016 is what the FDA has set as the day that these FDA regulations go into enforcement. So that means after that date, any new product that comes out has to file a PMTA, a pre-market tobacco application.
So we could keep all of the products that have come out forever till August 8th
Correct.
on the market.
Correct.
Okay, but
Correct.
and that's only if the date gets changed.
Only if the date, and that's just a temporary fix.
Right.
It's just to stop the bleeding of what we have now, and obviously keep the selection and the products that we have and the liquids that we have now for the current vapors and the smokers that are out there.
Okay.
It definitely doesn't fix the entire problem, but it buys us that time. We need a couple of years to be able to work through the legislation in Congress to force the FDA to take out these products from the CTP. Because, damn it, they're not tobacco products. They don't emit smoke. And they shouldn't be regulated under that same authority. We need to force the FDA to create a vapor product category and have them regulated fair and balanced based on the population as a whole and how it can benefit public health and smokers, most importantly, the number one killer in this country.
Yeah.
And we can only do that through Congress.
Okay. And if the date does not get changed, okay, everything from 2007 to August 8th has to get pulled off the shelves?
It can remain, but it has to file an application to remain. So if you have a product from 2009 and you want to keep it on the product, it has to go through the entire PMTA process, which is costly, extremely costly, and no guarantee that it would be approved.
Okay.
So let me give a little bit of analysis on the HR 2058 before we move on to the next, because it's extremely important for people to understand. People can ask me, is 2058 dead or not? Look, there's nothing wrong with a congressman supporting both of the amendments, both HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop amendment. However, at this stage of the game, even Tom Cole himself, which introduced HR 2058, has said that one is pretty much stalled and we should be supporting the Bishop Cole amendment. So it kind of hurts us when people are calling the representatives and asking them to support HR 2058 because they look at this bill that has stalled with what we saw today on the internet, 4% chance of passing, which I'm a betting man and I would never put my money on something like that. So it actually works against us when we're asking people to support HR 2058 instead of the Bishop Cole amendment. Now, there's been a couple of talks out there from various groups saying, well, we don't really like a lot of the language that's in the Bishop Cole amendment, even though they've never explained what they don't like amongst it. But I can tell you in some of the notes that I've taken here.
So we're going to talk about a little bit of some of the differences between HR 2058
Correct.
and Bishop Cole. What are the differences there?
So HR 2058 basically asks to move the date, and that's it.
That's it.
And it's very hard for Democrats because the Democrats are always thinking of the kids and what we're going to do about the kids. It's very hard to get Democratic support. So we need a bipartisan support. We need to get Democrats and Republicans on board and move this amendment forward in order for it to pass and join a bill and have the president sign it.
And by the way, guys, you may not appreciate or like all the political bullshit that you're going to hear in this video, but unfortunately, it is how things work.
This is how laws come to fruition in the United States.
Okay.
And don't blame me, I'm Greek, he's Italian, so don't blame us, please. It wasn't our fault. But that's the way that the law is. So anyway, so let's talk about this Cole-Bishop amendment. The Vapor Technology Association recognized that 2058 had stalled and worked with with Senator Cole, to be able to introduce new legislation that adds, let's move the date, but let's also add some reasonable regulations for the industry. That way we can show Democrats that we do have a responsible industry, and that way we can get some bipartisan support. And in fact, it was voted by the House of Appropriations Committee 3119 to pass. And we also got a Democrat bishop from Albany, Georgia, to co-sponsors. And I have a Republican and a Democrat supporting one amendment. So that shows bipartisan support. Even Representative Cole stood up the day of the hearing and said that this amendment makes more sense because it's taken in consideration some regulations and others that spoke on our behalf, and that's why it was able to pass. Now, we did hear that mid-June there might be a vote on this, so it's extremely important to get everybody on board to support the Cole-Bishop amendment. And some of the language that is in there, again, I have some notes. If you're just a consumer, ask yourself some of the stuff that's in there. Do we mind that the FDA is going to start a regulatory process on batteries by 2018, which we know the way that the FDA is moving, it'll probably be 10 years before they develop battery safety, which, by the way, is not included in the deeming regulations, but it's something that me and Phil feel strongly about. Do the retailers mind being, having to register the shop and pay a fee so that the enforcement can be enacted, so people can check on their stores if they're selling to people under 18? Do we mind having a law that says we couldn't sell to anybody under 18? Do we mind if advertising is print advertising is limited to publications that doesn't cater to youth? I mean, we're a responsible industry. We say we never sell to kids, so why would we mind about that? Having the words underage sales prohibited, keep out of reach of children, and nicotine content is included on the package labels? No, it's truth.
Fine.
And also, you can't buy from a vending machine or self-service display. I think, again, just like cigarettes, it shouldn't be accessible to kids.
Sure.
And it should be in control. So this is some of the language that is in there. And if you said yes to any of those, then you're not a responsible consumer, and you're definitely not a responsible business.
Right.
And also, if you're a vapor business, if you're in the industry, if you're a manufacturer or a juice maker or whatever you are, look at the deeming regulations now, and look at the Cole-Bishop amendment. And I mean, why wouldn't you want the Bishop Cole amendment, which is by far less onerous than what the proposed deeming regulations, which will put us out of business, would be? Anyway, the HR 2058 was flat rejected last year. It's not moving. It's not going anywhere. And I think it is my opinion that we're hurting ourselves by telling people to support HR 2058 when we know that it's highly unlikely to move anywhere. And it also creates confusion amongst the industry and the consumers and obviously the politicians that we're trying to get the support out there from.
All right. So with the new Bishop Cole amendment, okay, why do I still see like this push for HR 2058?
I don't know. I mean, some people are fixated on this, and it sometimes it boils down to, which association you belong to or what message we're trying to give out there. But everybody's missing the point here. The only amendment that is making its way through, that is gathering support, is the Cole-Bishop amendment. And effectively, it is the only vehicle that has bipartisan support that could possibly gather enough votes to pass through and save the industry. If you are a consumer, a manufacturer, a distributor, or anything that has to do with the vaping industry, you should be picking up the phone right now, talking to your representative to support the Cole-Bishop amendment. If you are a business, you should call your representative and tell him in his district he has a business that has 5 employees, 20 employees, 50 employees, whatever employees you have, and if they don't support this Cole-Bishop amendment, you will be out of business, and hundreds of families that work for you will be out of business as well too. There is no other vehicle that's moving to move the predicate date except the Cole-Bishop amendment. And at the end of the day, it shows responsible regulation. It shows that the industry does want to self-regulate. It has language inside that makes sense. It definitely has language in there that will gather Democratic support for a bipartisan effort to save vaping.
Okay, so that was kind of one of my questions, and you already touched on it. So you say support the Cole-Bishop amendment, right? How does a vapor do that? How does a shop do that? How does a manufacturer do that? How do people do this?
You just have to send a message to your representatives, to Congress, that you want the Cole Bishop Amendment to pass. Now, I always support that you set up meetings with them, whether they're staffers, their offices in your hometown, or even in D.C. We're planning a fly-in early June. I highly encourage anybody that wants to participate, please contact me. There'll be, of course, announcements being made of this as well. We're going to make a push on the Hill June 8th to go around and talk to congressmen and let them know that we want them to support the Cole Bishop Amendment. Pick up the phone, send an email, send handwritten letters, send faxes. But ultimately, what really resonates with politicians is when you show up on the doorstep, because that shows that you're serious. And talk to their staffers. You don't necessarily have to talk to the representative themselves. Much better if you could, if you have that power and are able to land down a meeting with them. But even their staffers, because they're younger, they understand the product, they can relate to the technology better. Talk to them, explain to them. If they see in their district a huge vaping industry and a lot of consumers that have quit smoking with this product, they will change their mind and they will give support for the Cole Bishop Amendment, and it's extremely needed right now.
Okay. So you would say that that would be the primary thing to do right now. That's probably the most important thing that the entire industry could do is support this Cole Bishop Amendment.
Absolutely. Okay. And the litigation. These are the two vehicles that can stop this. Folks, I've said it multiple times, and it seems like I can't get through. This is not a time where the FDA is deciding what they're going to do with vaping. This is not the time where people are going to vote if these regulations are going to be enacted or not. The federal regulations were published in the Federal Register on 5/10 day, by the way, ironically enough, on May 10th. So on 5/10, they were published and they will be enacted August the 8th. There is no waiting. The time was yesterday, but since we didn't do anything yesterday, the time is now to stop the bleeding. I promise you that if we're able to pass the Cole Bishop Amendment, or if our litigation is successful, I promise you that we're going to work very hard for the next 2 years to take a sensible approach to this and have Congress force FDA to take us out of the CTP because we don't belong there.
Okay. All right. So take Congress to take us out of the CTP.
CTP.
What does that mean?
Take Congress to take our product, the vapor industry, out of the Center for Tobacco Products because we don't belong there. Okay. We're not a pharmaceutical product. I'm not sick. You're not sick. We just wanted to quit smoking, right?
Right.
We're not a tobacco product. It contains no tobacco and it emits no smoke, and it definitely does not cause the harm as the grandfathered cigarettes, by the way, because the cigarettes don't have to file the applications that we have to file. So we definitely don't belong in either category. We need to fight to create its own category.
Okay, so you want the Center for Vaping Products.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I want the Center for Vaping Products led by Phil Busardo. I'd love to see that.
I'd beat my head against the wall. So you would say that doing this is far more important than signing online petitions.
Yes, please stay away from online petitions. They promote slacktivism, as it's called. A lot of vapors that don't know, that follow blindly some of the groups or some of the other vapors that are out there, think that sometimes they'll sign a petition. That's all they have to do. It's been proven, especially in vaping, with our first petition that we did years ago, 100,000 signatures were sent to Obama that were completely ignored. So online petitions, if you have an extra couple minutes and you want to sign it and it makes you feel good, go ahead. But ultimately, they will bear no fruits. Legislation and litigation are the two pathways that could save the vaping industry right now.
Okay, and I know you're kind of anti, a lot of people talking about workarounds and loopholes and trying to figure out ways around the FDA regulations. What are your comments?
From an ethics standpoint, obviously I'm against it because I'm going to be vaping forever. Why am I fighting then? Why am I in D.C. once a month? Why do I travel around? Why do I try to help state associations form? Why do I try to get people involved in the political fight? Not for me, not for you. Not for the vapors, for the smokers. And we always have to keep that in mind. And then from a responsibility factor, think about this, that underground vaping is actually more dangerous than the vaping under a regulatory framework. I don't want to have to meet somebody down the corner to get my juice. I don't want to have my juice being mixed in dirty environments. I don't want people gouging prices on the internet to get black market stuff. It's not safe. But it definitely does not legitimize this industry, and it's going to die. It's going to be like it was 5-6 years ago when there was about 100,000 of us that were vaping online, and we had this little close-knit community, and we couldn't get smokers to switch.
Right. So it was one of the things somebody sent me a message the other day, and they said, Phil, you've been pushing for regulation. I don't know if it necessarily been pushing for regulation, but well, now that we have regulations, what do you think? What I've said was that no industry needs to be regulated more than this industry, but it needs to be fair and balanced, and we all still need to continue to do business, right?
It's funny how some people don't want regulations, but trust me, regulations actually help vaping because it gives faith to smokers
Yeah.
to try out the product. I mean, come on, fair and reasonable regulations, absolutely, we're all for them. I mean, the smokers now believe, almost 65% of them believe, that e-cigs are just as harmful as traditional tobacco.
That's a problem.
And whose fault is that? That is the fault of the opposition that keeps putting out false information and propaganda and an unregulated industry that can't get its act together. Yes, we want some fair and reasonable regulations, but what the FDA has proposed is a far overreach of government. They're burdensome, they're onerous, and they're virtually impossible for any company to adhere to. There's no way, and if anybody tells you otherwise, they haven't even read the regulations, or they're fooling you, trying to appease you so you can continue to buy their product. There's no way, except maybe a couple of the big tobacco companies, to pass a PMTA. Only one PMTA has passed in the last 7 or 8 years. So it's
PMTA. What does PMTA mean?
It is a pre-market tobacco application. It was actually a deal that was reached with the tobacco companies back in 2009 that basically said we're never going to ban cigarettes, never. The FDA will never ban cigarettes, but guess what? If you want to put a new product on the market, you're going to pass through these extreme, most difficult circumstances and testing in order to put your product on the market. And of course, it works for the tobacco companies because they have a cigarette, they have a substantially equivalent product on the market, and none of them have applied. I mean, over 3,000 applications, nothing has gone through. A lot of them have been pulled back. Only Swedish Match was able to get a PMTA through, and that was with 20 years of research. The biggest problem with the PMTA, obviously, is that you have to submit studies with your product. Everybody says, well, I got a lab, I'm ready for the FDA regulations. No, you're not. In fact, nowhere in the FDA regulations have they said anything about a lab. They said that in the future, they will explore good manufacturing practices for these products. But currently, what you have to do is you have to apply for your product, and you have to prove to the FDA, A, that it's not a risk to public health, and how does it affect the population as a whole, which is virtually impossible because we don't have a predicate for that testing. And you also have to prove that your product is not going to be attracted to youth. So if I submit my application for my liquid and I list watermelon as one of my ingredients, how am I going to prove that youth does not like watermelon? It's not going to be attracted. It's virtually impossible. And that's something, again, read what the regulations are. It's 500 pages. A lot of people are making comments and making suggestions without even reading it. But read it. Zero nic is included. They've closed that loophole. The products that we're going to have on the market after August 8th, we cannot make any modified risk product category claims. So basically, I can't say, or you can't say for your new juice line, that it's less harmful than cigarettes, which is a truthful statement. We are not allowed to say the truth about our products. It's completely ridiculous, and it will, nobody will pass. Nobody will pass.
You told me something today that zero nic is a tobacco product.
Yes, you have to file on your product. You have to prove to them. You have to submit proof that your product does not contain nicotine. But then, when you do that, you don't have to put on the label as you do with the other ones that this product contains nicotine. But you have to put on there that this is a tobacco product.
So zero nic is a tobacco product.
It's a tobacco product, correct? Because the intended use, and all they have to have is reasonable doubt, the intended use is to vaporize as a mean of getting away from smoking.
See, that's why I can't do advocacy. I would get thrown out of every meeting.
Yeah, you get too. I want to tell you, 4 days ago, I was in Williamsburg, Virginia, attending the TMA, and Mitch Zeller was a keynote speaker, and he came out and smiling, kind of like, "Hey, pow, we shoved it in your where the sun don't shine," and he was giving a presentation. And he discussed these proposed regulations, and he also talked about flavors, and he talked about the future. And he seemed pretty happy until it was time to take questions. And when the question session came around, a lot of good questions were asked. And one of the questions was, what do you believe about the black market? Aren't you afraid that it's going to create black market? And you could tell by looking at his hands on the podium how they cringed, when he got that question. And he basically said that we have currently enforcement. We're going to hire more enforcement. We're going to use everything that we can to shut down the black market. It's like they expect this to happen.
Right.
And all they have to do is just a couple of examples. I mean, they catch a couple of people, throw a couple $1 million fines,
right.
Put you in prison for 15 years for mixing e-liquids. Right. Completely ridiculous, but it can happen.
Right.
And it can happen.
And they spent a whole lot of money to kind of infiltrate the online groups and the
I'm afraid
social
of that. Yeah,
media, right?
That's something that nobody has spoken about.
Right. So there was a dollar amount that they threw at that.
$2.7 million was spent last year to infiltrate social media and collect data on electronic cigarettes and vaporizers and how users were altering them or modifying them. in the market. So my fear is that even if we do go to a black market, a lot of these groups have already been penetrated by the FDA, and it could get ugly. And something that a lot of people don't talk about. Obviously, there's a lot of fear and a lot of anger,
Right.
but that's something that we definitely have to bring up.
Right. Okay. So, but my e-liquid is has nicotine derived from tomatoes or eggplants or it's synthetic, so I'm okay, right?
No, you're not okay. It's
Okay.
the intended use. Nicotine is nicotine, according to the FDA, no matter where it's derived.
So even though this is a tobacco product, it doesn't
It's a
necessarily
tobacco
mean that
product.
nicotine has to come from
If your
tobacco.
nicotine is coming from chairs, it's a tobacco product. It doesn't really make any difference. Synthetic nicotine is a little bit difficult because it might be actually deemed pharmaceutical at some point. So the FDA certainly has closed the loopholes on that as well too. And if you thought a PMTA was difficult, it's extremely difficult to get a pharmaceutical license for your product. So yeah, there is no loophole out there when it comes to whether it's nic or no nic. But ultimately, even with these loopholes that people are trying to find, how are you going to get it in the vape shop? If you have a legal product, if you have a product that does not meet the criteria, you're trying to loophole it, you're going to have to put it in a vape shop to sell it. Those will be enforced by checks from the health department and the FDA itself. They find the product in there, they're going to shut down the vape shop, and they're going to come after the person that produced it.
Okay. All right. So we know that we want to support Cole Bishop. All right.
Yes.
But there's a ton of advocacy groups out there, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of advocacy groups on the side, the left side of tasteyourjuice.com. You scroll down,
Sure.
you know, and people, I get this all the time. Who do I support?
Right.
Where do I go? Where do I, if I have money to throw at this, where do I put that money? What do I
Right.
do?
If you are a small, well, let me start with the consumer.
Okay.
If you're a consumer in this industry, you have no financial vested interest, you're just a vapor and enjoy vaping, CASA. CASA.org. Obviously, the links are on Taste Your Juice. It's the only national organization that represents the rights for consumers. And trust me, a lot of these groups, I don't always see eye to eye with them. There's stuff that we agree and there's stuff that we don't agree with. But that's irrelevant at this stage of the game because what we're looking for here is the future and trying to save vaping. If you are a small business, a small vape shop in a state, I would suggest that you look to your state organization to join. It's extremely hard for a very small shop with low generating revenue to connect directly to a national group. So by joining your state association, you can bridge the state association to a national group and get all the information that you want from a federal standpoint down through the association down to this to the shops. If you're a larger scale manufacturer, you need to look to a national trade association, support your local state association, but also look to a large association. And there's a couple of them out there. There's FADA, and obviously there's VTA, which I'm a member of, and Sevia USA is a member of, the Vapor Technology Association. But before you join anybody, these people represent your interests. You're paying them money. So ask questions. What have you done? What will you do? What is your goal? What is your mission? Where's your money being spent?
What have you accomplished?
You guys are business people. You should be asking these questions from your suppliers. You should be asking these questions from your employees. You should be asking these questions from the groups that represent you. Don't blindly go and join an association because Phil or Dimitri or whoever else told you to do so. You need to find who represents your business interests the best. And that's who you should put your money into. And obviously, please budget some money for the lawsuit. Lawsuits in the United States are very expensive. We expect this lawsuit that we're going to file will be upwards in the $2 million range. So you can see how critical it is for us to raise money. So take a portion of what you're going to donate for advocacy and what you're going to invest in the future of your business and put it into that litigation fund as well.
Okay. So with these advocacy groups, are the advocacy groups seeing eye to eye? Because I mean, I just experienced something like myself personally, right? And it was with the FAA ban on not being able to fly with your e-cig products. Now I got a message from you. It's dead. I put it up on the website. It's dead. And then I see another advocacy group saying, "Well, it's not dead." Me really? Hold on. Let me see. Let's see who it is this time. Oh, it's Mom. I got to answer this.
You
Okay?
got to.
Yeah. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah. What's up?
She butt dial you.
It's your son, Philip. Yeah. you're the live one that we did. Mom was watching us live.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mom.
That
wasn't really me. It was Phil with a mask.
No, the reason why we're laughing, Mom, is because we're doing a very important video right now, and you just called in the middle of it, and you're actually on the video right now. Is that okay? Yes. So, okay. Wait. Hold on a second. Okay. Hold on a second. I'm gonna put you on speaker. Okay. Hold on. Where's the speaker? Okay, there it is. Okay. Are you there, Mom?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Mom. Tell everybody you're a vapor.
I am a vapor for 4.5 years.
And Mom, do you smoke anymore?
I didn't hear you.
Do you smoke anymore?
Excuse me? You keep cutting out, babe.
Mom, do you smoke anymore?
Oh, God, no.
Okay. And Mom, how old are you? Mom's tough. Mom?
Yes.
Oh, Mom, how old are you, Mom?
I can't hear you.
It's okay.
It's okay, don't worry
It's
about it.
technical.
We got enough.
But we'll try it one more time.
I can't hear
Okay.
you. You keep cutting out.
Okay, Mom, we'll try it one more time. Mom, how old are you, Mom? Damn. Okay, it's right.
Tell him how old.
Okay.
Just tell him how old.
Can you hear me now, Mom? Okay, just tell everybody how old you are. Okay, ready? Okay, wait, not yet. I gotta put you on speaker first. Okay. All right, ready? All right, go ahead. Go right now.
I will be 70 years old on 9/11.
I know, and I'm so sorry about your birth date, Mom. But I love. Okay, I know you are. All right, well, thanks for calling, Mom, and you're part of the video now. Okay. All right, I love you.
Love you, Mom.
Okay, bye. Love you too, Demi. Okay, bye.
That should be the face of vape.
It's the face of vape right there.
That should be the face of vape.
Okay. Yeah. So, where were we before we started?
Groups with FAA.
Mom interrupts. All right. So the FAA. Okay. So the FAA. It was the banning of the vaping products while you're traveling, either in your check-in or in your carry-on. Just no vape products. And I get the message from Demi, it's dead. I put it up on Taste Your Juice, it's dead. And I see from another group, well, but it's not dead, and you really should listen to us and not them. And I mean, there's infighting and advocacy, and I that can't happen. I mean, that's got to stop, right?
It feels like people want to be the leader, like, oh, we were the first ones to announce it. Look, when I message you, and I think people that follow me and you, every time that you've asked me a question, if I'm not 110% sure on my answer, I would not give it to you, because I know that you influence a lot of people with your reach. So when I messaged you that the FAA bill was dead, we knew through our federal lobby, Westfront Strategies, that has been working on the Hill hard to defeat that is not going to get any traction. They've spoken to the people on the committee. Was going to vote for it. Yes, officially it was going to be announced a week later, but my feeling on was that we're currently working on so many other issues in the industry. Let's forget about the FAA thing. We don't have to focus on this. It's dead. Let's move on and attack the serious issues that we're going to have on board. And it's unfortunate that it happened to you, but like it's happened to you, it's happened to a lot of people. There's a lot of confusion out there. I'm going to say one thing. I don't care who you support, what advocacy group you belong to. The only thing you should be worried about now is to save vaping. The era of vaping as we know it is near an end. So no matter who you support, what group you're part of, who's your trade association, who's your consumer group, what state association you belong to is irrelevant, because we're all going to be out. We're all going to be dead after these regulations come into effect in August. And that should be your only goal, is to guide your consumers in your industry in the right path to save vaping.
And that's really powerful what you just said. We're all going to be dead. I mean,
literally.
Because literally, this is going to kill people. This is going to kill people. I mean, if we don't, we know it's safer than smoking, and if these products aren't around for people are going to die.
I want to tell you what my 10-year-old daughter said. I just thought it would be interesting here for your viewers. This was my wife's status on Facebook this morning. When your 10-year-old even understands the ridiculousness of the FDA's regulations on e-cigs, Lena, my 10-year-old daughter, said, so basically you're telling me that they want everyone to be sick and not have a chance at a better life, and that it's all about money. Sigh. What a smart little was my wife's hashtag. But there you go. A 10-year-old explained it to you better than what we
Why
could.
don't you bring her up to Washington?
Yeah, I know,
mean,
right? Because I'll be
It
attacked.
sounds like she said it in a nutshell right there. I mean,
Because I probably will be attacked by the opposition that I'm using kids to promote nicotine.
oh yeah, good point. Yeah, we can't do that.
Only
So,
they're allowed to do that. We're not allowed to do that.
let's see what else. Okay, so I want to get to the lawsuits in a little bit. We
Mhm.
talked about the advocacy groups, who to support. What about right to be free? Right to be
Right
smoke
to be
free.
smoke free.
What is that?
It's really not a group or an association. It was basically a coalition that came together when the bad law in Indiana was formed, which basically eliminates all liquid manufacturing and importation of liquid into Indiana. We thought that that law was overreaching. We thought it was unconstitutional. So, with a bunch of manufacturers, including the company that I work for, we came together. We raised some money to sue the state, and the announcement of that lawsuit should be coming out here in 2 or 3 weeks. We're expecting any day now that we're going to get a ruling from the judge. So basically, it was a way for us to come together and fund the lawsuit in Indiana. So we felt that's the best vehicle to continue with this lawsuit with the FDA.
Okay.
And please, I want everybody to understand this because, again, a lot of groups jumped on this. They said, hey, oh, AIMSA is suing the FDA. We don't want to do anything with AIMSA. Oh, right to be smoke-free. Oh, Rob Crossley from Cosmic Fog is suing the FDA. No, there is no association behind this. In fact, I highly encourage all the associations to support it, which is unfortunate that they haven't so far, and I'm extremely disappointed. This is the lawsuit for the industry. This is the one that the manufacturers can get behind, the vape shops, the distributors, the consumers, everybody that has a stake in vaping and wants to financially support this lawsuit because it's going to cost a lot of money. This is the vehicle to go. There will be multiple lawsuits out there, and I hope that they all have the common goal that these FDA regulations are unconstitutional. And there's going to be various angles, but the Right to Be Smoke-Free Coalition is not the group that is leading this. It's the vehicle that we're funding, Keller and Heckman, which is our attorneys, that are going to file the lawsuit on our behalf against the FDA.
Okay, so when I did that post the other day on Taste Your Juice, and there's a donate there,
Right.
link there. Okay, so you're donating to Right to Be Smoke Free, but that all of that money,
100% of the proceeds go directly to the funding of the lawsuit. There's no staff on Right to Be Smoke-Free. There's no paid people. There's no everything. All the money goes directly to the lawsuit.
Okay.
And AIMSA has a donate button on their website as well too. And I hope other organizations put a donate that goes directly into the lawsuit. It's just make it easier, a vehicle to funnel money into the lawsuit.
Okay. So now talk about that lawsuit, because I think we talked about the other lawsuit at the beginning of the video.
Yes.
But talk to me about that lawsuit, the Keller and Heckman lawsuit.
So we had a phone conference last week with Keller and Heckman, and they've been working on this for the past 2-3 months.
Do you need I'm a nice host. Do you need anything to drink? Because you
No,
talk.
I got some water here.
Are you okay with the water?
I got rum chata, water, coffee.
Coffee?
I got a little bit of
I'm
everything.
out of my tea though.
And
I
I'm
need
still
to get some
burping
more tea.
meatballs, by the way. I don't know what.
All right, you talk about Keller Heckman. I'm going to go right over there and get a nice tea.
No, I'll wait. I'll wait
You
till
wait?
you come
All right,
back.
go ahead. Say something in the meantime.
All right. Phil's got a nice ass, by the way. I just saw it getting up from over here. Oh, that's so bad. We have to have some humor, though, guys, because it's a lot of serious and depressing stuff.
Yeah. That's okay.
And the truth is that we have to have some humor. So Keller and Heckman, Azim Chowdhury has been a ECIG attorney for a while now. He represents a lot of clients with the FDA. He's done a lot of groundwork. We knew this time was coming, so we started gathering some data 3 months ago. Now, in the past 2-3 years, when the open comment came on to us by the FDA, over 130,000 comments were submitted. We met with the OMB with multiple stakeholders, expressed our displeasure with the FDA regulations and how onerous they were. Pretty much everything that we did was completely ignored.
Everything.
Everything.
All of the comments that were done, all of the submissions that were done, carrying all of the petitions that were
Exactly.
done, the OMB comments, all of the manufacturers that went to OMB, all of your data on the number of jobs that this affects, the number of we didn't talk about lives that it affects, right? But obviously it does. But all of the financial losses that we would have, everything was ignored.
Yes. That's your system at work. And it's something that we anticipated.
Well, it's our system at work.
Yeah.
You're Greek, but you're still an American Greek, right?
I'm a U.S. citizen and I vote. So Trump can't deport me, for those of you that want to see me gone. But anyway, everything was completely ignored, which is very unfortunate. But it's something that we expected. But keep in mind that through all these past 2-3 years, we have been submitting a lot of data to the FDA and to the agency and to the House of Energy Commerce and to the OMB. that it's documented, it's public docket, and it's something that we're going to use in the lawsuit, I think, as well too. There's various angles, obviously some of them that I can't talk to into great detail here on this video because it is a litigation. But on the phone call, Azim and his team presented us with 7 or 8 different angles that we could go after this. I think a lot of them made sense. I think we do have a strong case, but I'm also a realist. I mean, when you go into a court, it's a 50-50 chance at anything. Extremely difficult to sue the FDA and win. It's happened in the past, though. So let's not forget that the goal here is to do something. This is the one vehicle, the litigation that we can use along with the Cole-Bishop Amendment. So if you're interested in suing for your rights, this is the way to go. There's a lot of unconstitutional things within the FDA deeming regulations, including the zero nicotine. I mean, I can bring up more and more examples. One of the things that was extremely alarming to me is the PMTA process. Having to prove that your product is not going to attract youth. How do we do that? Again, the PMTA has not a standard checklist. I'm going to file my application and it says check yes, check yes, check yes, and you pass. Even if you submit all the information that the FDA requires, which is going to cost millions of dollars. Anybody that's telling you $300,000 is...
Why is it going to cost millions of dollars?
Simply because of the clinical data that you have to submit along with your application. So it's not just filing that, hey, I have a liquid, that's a watermelon liquid. You have to file, a toxicology report on the flavorings that were used to create the flavoring that goes within your liquid. Just one little example. You have to submit testing of your liquid with 300 different devices on the market. You also have to submit clinical data on your product, how it's going to affect the population as a whole, why it's going to be reduced risk, why youth are not going to be attracted to it. This all costs millions of dollars in data to gather. So anybody that tells you $300,000 for application is way off. We expect anywhere from 1 to 10 million per. And that's per Nick strength. So if you have 4 liquids in your new line, 4 Nick strengths, that's 16, 2 bottle sizes, that's 32 applications that you have to file, which is $330 million.
I'll put my PayPal account information.
Try to GoFundMe. Everybody else is doing it. So anyway, so yeah, I mean, obviously, we can get into a lot of details, but the truth is that even if you submit that, let's say you do spend $330 million and you submit the PMTAs, the FDA has discretionary decision-making on it. So they can basically say, we don't approve it. So there is no guarantee that a PMTA will pass, and it's my opinion. Again, this is my opinion and doesn't represent any association, that the FDA is going to gather the PMTAs, and a week before, it's going to reject all of them. That's what I believe that they're going to do. If anybody's able to submit a PMTA, which, I don't think it's going to be possible. Along with that, there's other stipulations amongst the FDA regulations for the shop owners. If you build a coil within your shop, you're now a tobacco manufacturer.
Yeah.
You're a tobacco manufacturer if you alter the product in any way. So all those coil building classes and all these coil builders that are working in these shops, I'm sorry, you're now a tobacco manufacturer. And I don't have to tell you what kind of regulations the tobacco manufacturers are under. You can just look them up on Google and see some of the past stuff that's happened with the existing tobacco companies. And I guarantee you that a vape shop wouldn't be able to do that. Obviously, mixing in store.
Yeah, I was just going to say mixing in store.
Mixing in store is gone.
But you know what? I'm a store, and I'm just going to, I don't care what the rules and regulations say. I'm just going to keep doing it. What could happen to me?
You could face 15 years in prison. And a couple $1 million in fines, yeah.
And you truly believe that if this does go through, that they're going to try to make examples of it?
I think that's the best way to curb. There's over estimated 15,000 vape shops in the United States. So how do you slow it down? How do you close them down? You scare them, and that's the tactic that the government uses all the time. So yeah, I certainly believe that they're going to have enforcement. And from what I saw Mitch Zeller say at the TMA, I believe that they're going to try to set the example from a couple people.
Okay, so I had this one question that came in, and it was, is one massive lawsuit better than a whole bunch of lawsuits?
Yes and no. I think that the industry lawsuit is going to have a lot of players behind it, and hopefully a lot of associations behind it. That's a good thing, because it shows that all these people are concerned about their business. But obviously, the more lawsuits that we have, all have the same goal. It's good as well, too, because it shows, again, the seriousness of the matter for our industry and the vapor industry as a whole. if a lot of lawsuits are filed in different jurisdictions, it could be bad. If a company has a special interest, let's say we have a company that only wants tobacco and menthol, and they're going to sue the regulations just to have tobacco and menthol, obviously that's going to go against us as well too. It's not going to help. But ultimately, I think that anybody that's a logical person, just the fact that you can't claim that your product is less harmful, so you're basically forced by the government to lie, that is grounds for a lawsuit. There's a lot of angles that we can take, and obviously, I'm not an attorney, and I don't claim to be one, so don't take this as legal advice. We're going to listen to the attorneys and see what the best plan of attack is. Lawsuits can be amended within the next 30 to 60 days, and I think that's what's going to happen in all the lawsuits, even the NicoPure lawsuits, which was only 15 pages, but I think in the next 30 days you have the right to amend it and add or take stuff out, and I think we're going to take the same move as well too. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Is it going to be expensive? Yes. But we have to try. We can't give up. I'm not going to give up,
No.
and I know Sevia is not going to give up. You're not going to give up.
Right.
My state association, Tennessee Smoke Free Association, has committed to raise money in the next 30 days to give to the lawsuit, and I highly encourage. Some of the smaller vape shops just don't have the funds. They can't contribute $10,000, $20,000 to a lawsuit. But if I can get $500 from every vape shop in Tennessee, which has over 300 vape shops, now we've got a good chunk and change that we can funnel into that lawsuit. Sorry, I think I just spit on you, by the way.
You
I'm
did.
sorry.
It's okay.
It's a little DNA. It's okay.
We've done worse. So with this lawsuit now, lawsuits need to be funded. Lawsuits need money, and obviously, you know, we're defining some pathways for you to give money to the lawsuit. Does the lawsuit have enough money at this point to move forward?
Yes.
mean, okay. So
Yeah, so we've raised the required funds to launch,
okay, to launch. Okay.
which will be in the next 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And you're going to get more information about that, obviously, as it's coming out. I don't want to speak on what's going to be on the lawsuit because I don't know, and it could change at any minute. So I want to give you accurate information. All I do, what I can tell you is that this lawsuit will represent the industry and the open vapor space as we know it, because it's extremely different and difficult to merge with a company that believes in closed vapor space. We need to represent the open vapor space, and this is what we fight for. We believe that this style of vaping is the most effective to help people quit smoking, and that's what we have to fight for. Variety of liquids, variety of devices, variety of atomizers, something out there for everybody is the way to go forward, and that's why this product works.
All right. I want to talk about timelines and timeframes. Yeah. Okay. So, like, you know, what does the August 8th date mean? What do all the dates mean?
Right.
Right.
There's a lot of confusion, again, because people think that we have this 2-year window, which is not absolutely true. We have some steps that are going to happen, and also the FDA has said that at any given time they can introduce new regulations, adjustment of flavors, and again, which we believe is also challengeable in the lawsuit because they haven't given clear guidance to the industry on how to proceed. So the first date that you should be worried about is August the 8th. That is the day that the regulations. It's the effective date of the authority that the FDA has over electronic cigarettes. That is the first date. Sales to minors are banned. I'm looking down at my notes here, so I'm not looking at Phil's pants. But anyone under the age of 18 has to be cannot buy these products unless it's higher in your state. In a couple of states, it is already. Hawaii, and I think California just passed a bill now where it's 21. And you have to photo ID anybody that looks under the age of 26, which is the standards for tobacco products now. Also, product adulteration. This takes effect on August 8th. All manufacturers must operate their facilities in a sanitary manner, such as no products are manufactured or shipped that are contaminated in a manner that might injure the public health beyond the risks that may be inherent in the product. Again, very vague language, but I'm assuming here if they come into your shop and you're mixing, in the back under unsanitary conditions, they do have the right to cite you or even close you. Modified risk claims. This is what we talked about a little bit earlier. Companies may not make any advertising claims or other public statements directed to consumers that their product may have less risk, be less harmful, have fewer or no additives as compared to other tobacco products prohibited.
Have fewer or less. Well, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
I can't say an e-liquid has just PG, VG,
no,
nicotine and flavoring.
No.
I can't say that.
No, and you can't also say the most truthful and the most effective advantage of electronic cigarettes that they don't contain tar and smoke, which is what kills you in cigarettes, and it's not nicotine. So you can't say that.
That's unbelievable. That's just unbelievable.
I know, but
it's all
the reality. That's the reality. Yeah, and this is why this video is extremely important, and I hope people share this with other vapors in the industry because this is the reality of what we're facing. No new products. Sorry, no more reviews. No new products. Can remain produced until the FDA has issued a marketing order authorizing sale based on a substantial equivalency or a PMTA.
All right, let's dig into that a little bit. China is still going to make new products. What does that mean? How does that relate to vape shops can't sell new
Correct.
products? Okay, that's really what it means.
Yes,
right?
so no product can be introduced to the market unless it has a substantial equivalency application or a pre-market tobacco application that has been approved. So let's say I want to put a new device out in the market. I have to file a PMTA, and I have to wait for the FDA to approve it, which could take up to 3 years, if it's approved, and then it can be introduced in the market after August 8th. Now, for the current products that are on the market from 2000 on, those products can remain on the market, but you have to, within the next 2 years, which is kind of the window that they gave to apply for the products that are currently on the market, to keep them on the market. If the products that we have on the market now don't fill an application, they have to be removed after 2 or 3 years specifically. I think in some products as well, too.
Unless Cole Bishop passes?
Cole Bishop will halt the date from 2007 and move it up to August 8th, 2016, which is the day that the effective the regulation.
Clarify that one more time for me. I want to
So
understand that.
the products from 2007 until 2016, August 8th,
Okay.
will not have to file a PMTA
If Cole Bishop
if
passes.
Cole Bishop passes.
Okay.
Correct. So it basically protects the market as we know it now and keeps these products that we've been using available on the market without them having to go through this very expensive, time-consuming, money-grabbing, not guaranteed application for your product to be on the market.
Okay.
Misbranding. This is all August 8th again. FDA will begin enforcement on false or misleading labeling and advertising. And I think that could be taken into a lot of context. It's very broad. But I think that some of the labeling that's out there, let's say you say on your bottle that you have 12 milligram content and they test it and it has 18 or 6, that could be mislabeling, false advertising, and they will be testing that. Vending machines are prohibited except if it's in the facility. So if you have a vape shop that's cards, you can have a vending machine in there, which doesn't really apply. I've never seen a vending machine in a shop. Now, that's for August the 8th. So let's say immediately nothing will really change at August the 8th. Okay, nothing will really change as we know it, except that you have to go through these steps. December 31st, this is where it gets interesting. You have to...
That's 2016, obviously.
2016,
right?
correct.
Yep.
You have to register your facility. So all domestic facilities that manufacture, prepare, compound, or process tobacco products, including those who repackage or otherwise change the container, wrapper, or labeling, will have to register, and that registration is obviously required annually, like the tobacco companies do. And the FDA intends to issue revised guidance to clarify scope and timing of registration. So we don't really know what this is going to
So
cost.
they're going to screw us even more there. Is what they,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. We don't know what this is going to cost, if it's going to be worth it. Obviously, some of the smaller shops that are out there that produce liquid within their shops, this is why I said you don't really have 2 years, okay, as some of you might think. This has to happen December 31st, and there's not really clear guidance on how it's going to happen by the FDA. You also must submit a product listing. Again, this is expensive, and this could be a little bit difficult. Upon first registration, the owner or operator must list each covered product, including all labeling and representative advertising. Listings must be updated each June and December to add new products not previously listed and delete discontinued products. So you have to submit to the FDA all the products that you have. Everything. Every nic strength, every bottle size, every flavor, everything that you have. And it must be updated every June and December. And you also have to, if you're a manufacturer of liquid, submit full listing of all ingredients by quantity, by brand, and by sub-brand. So if you produce a liquid that is Demi's Love Juice, I have to submit...
Great stuff.
It is. It's really good. I have to submit my full ingredient listing, where I buy these ingredients from, the bottle, the cap, the flavoring, the raw compounds, the VG, the PG, and what those flavorings, the flavoring compounds are as well. For products introduced after effective date, ingredient listing must be submitted 90 days before marketing of such products. So let's say this January 1st, you decide to have a new flavor. You cannot put it on the market until 90 days after you submit your ingredient listing. So you have to submit your ingredient listing after June 1st and then put it on the market 90 days later. That's for a product that you hadn't already listed that you missed the deadline for. This deadline applies to large-scale manufacturers if you are above a $5 million a year, or as they say here, 150 or fewer employees and 5 million and under in annual sales. You have an extension time, which is August the 8th, 2017. So they basically give you until August if you don't fit that scale of manufacturing of 5 million or 150 employees. And then large-scale manufacturers are required to submit to the FDA documents developed after June 22nd, 2009 that relate to health, toxicological, behavioral, or physiological effects of products, constituents, including smoke constituents, ingredients, components, and additives on your products. That's costly.
What does that mean?
A lot. It's a lot.
No. What does that mean?
So basically, it means that you have to submit all the documents that were developed after June 22nd, 2009, and all the ingredients that you use to manufacture your product.
Okay.
So clinical data, toxicological data, how does it affect, as it says here, behavioral, physiological, or toxicological and health effects, including the vapor that's being produced by your vapor. I mean, your liquid. So, you have to actually test the vapor that's coming out of your liquid and see what's in it as well, too, all the toxicological information that's included inside your liquid. It's really difficult stuff, folks. It's really, really hard. So that's the immediate August, December. And obviously, as we're moving forward, within 2 years, if you don't file a PMTA for your products, and I think they give a year extension for small manufacturers, you have to remove your product from the market. I can go on and on this, but I think what people have to understand here is that this does not fit the product category. It does not fit our products, and it's urgent that we change it.
Especially the PMTA, because the way I understand this, right, the PMTA was designed to keep cigarettes,
New tobacco products off the market.
off the market.
Yeah.
And they're trying to apply that to the vapor industry.
Exactly.
And it doesn't fit.
It does not. They're trying to put a square inside of a circle, and it just does not work. Now, I want to make one thing clear here. This, again, is my opinion, as this entire video is, that I think that the FDA didn't have an option. I think that the FDA only has one pathway, simply because they're under the Center for Tobacco Products. They don't want to regulate 18,000 products. It's virtually impossible for them.
Yeah.
They can't go through and say, okay, this company can pass, this company can't pass, or this label can pass. Look how many liquids and devices we have. So I think that the FDA pretty much said, here you go. This is the path that we can adhere to. They made some adjustments to fit the product category under their eyes, and they said, you deal with it. And by dealing with it, I think that they really expect that they're going to get sued. And I think that they really want maybe the Congress to take the pressure off the FDA a little bit and say, hey, Congress, help the industry, make the FDA create that new division. And that kind of takes the pressure off the FDA, saying that, hey, look, we tried to regulate them. We put them down the PMTA, but Congress stopped us and told us to change it. That could be a conspiracy theory. That could be just me, having a wishful thinking. But I think
that could potentially be a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Your hair looks terrific, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, can I get you anything else to drink? I want to make sure that you're
no, I'm good.
satisfied. Okay. Do you have enough e-liquid?
Yes.
Good.
I had to fill my tank twice through this video, by the way. That's a long video.
Yeah. How about your battery power? Is that good too?
Yeah.
Because you are using e-high devices.
And, yeah, I'm vaping at 12 watts. I can last all day.
That's true. That's true. All right. Let's see. Did you want to talk about? I know you wanted to say something about the Chinese manufacturers and the e-liquids.
Yeah, I want to say, because a lot of people say, well, they're going to keep making devices for Europe and the other market, or you can get them fast. They can get them. Yeah, absolutely, you can. Not everybody. I mean, not everybody's proficient. There's a lot of vapors out there that don't get online. But keep this in mind, that you're not going to have liquid to go with them. So it's basically like Phil buying a Lamborghini and he does not have any gas to put in. It's just going to sit in the garage over there.
Phil buying a Lamborghini is funny enough. Don't forget, I have to save up that $330 million for my liquids, right? I can't buy a Lamborghini.
But listen, there's a direct connection between good liquid and devices, and it's something that, if Phil remembers, we presented in China as well too during my presentation. As much as we would love the new sub tanks and the devices that are coming out, they need to be paired up with good liquid. And we had actually slides of liquid, American liquid, and devices, and we said that these two products integrate so well with each other. So that's why it's important for the Chinese to participate in our challenge here, but it's also important for the liquid manufacturers to participate as well too.
Right.
One can't make it with the other. Plain and simple.
Right.
Liquids can't make it if we don't have these wonderful tanks, and tanks won't make it unless we have wonderful liquids.
You know, the good news is we probably don't need any more sub tanks on the market.
That's good. There's plenty of them out there. No shortage. I mean, you have a backlog of 2 years back there that I saw in the tan room.
Oh man, I think we gave out a lot of good information.
I hope so. I hope people
so.
found this enlightening. I hope they found it informational. I hope they share it with people that want to get correct information.
Please share this.
This Tuesday on Smoke Free Radio, I'm going to do my first episode of Deeming Regulations, 9 p.m. Eastern, smokefreeradio.com. And then the following week, I will have litigation attorneys with us to answer all your questions. So we'll try to take the first step, Bishop Cole Amendment Tuesday, and then the next step will be litigation the following week. Try to get a little bit more direct questions. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions on loopholes, but I want to make sure that you have somebody more qualified than me to be able to answer them for you. But I do want to say one thing, and this will be my closing serious note.
Then can we have some fun?
And then we can have a lot of fun.
Good.
I know that a lot of you feel angered and frustrated and just downright pissed off, as you should. I know I am. I know Phil is. But it's extremely important to channel that anger and that frustration towards our ultimate goal and not towards each other. It's not my fault. It's not Phil's fault. It's not nobody's fault that we got into this situation. It's the fault of the system that depends on people smoking and dying to fill the registers of corporations, states, and governments. It's a corrupt system. It's a system that has built this country, unfortunately, and with more people quitting smoking and discovering vaping, we are having a negative effect on the cash flow of some people. So please, take that anger and that frustration and the feeling that you're feeling inside against the FDA and put it to good use. Educate the people around you. Speak to a non-vapor, non-smoker daily about what you're doing. Try to educate the public. Assist where you can in the calls to action as a consumer. And if you're a business, budget some of your money every month. Put it into a trade association. Put it into litigation to fight for your customers that are spending the money with you. And I truly believe in my heart that the mountain of evidence that is piling up every month from the Royal College of Physicians, from the Public Health England, from the various studies that great tobacco harm reduction advocates have done over the past couple of years, I truly believe that the mountain of evidence at some point will be so big for the opposition to overcome that one day we will win. And I want to be sitting right next to this guy and smiling and say, we finally did it.
That'd be fantastic. You know, the one thing that I will say is that we've seen this so many times with vapors. It's the drama of the week. And then they instantly forget about the drama of the week and they move on to the drama of the next week. And they totally forget about this. And they, there's the scares of stainless, and then there's the scares of, and then they forget, and then they forget, and they forget, and they move on, and they move on, they move on. Try not to move on with this one, right?
Yes.
I mean, try to maintain that passion and that anger and that frustration that you felt when you saw these deeming regulations come out. Right? Don't lose that. Don't become complacent in a week and think it's all going to go away if I just ignore it and forget about it. I don't think that's the right mentality to have. I don't think that's the right attitude to have. When you see the calls to action, when you see videos like this, when you see us giving you suggestions and recommendations, I mean, take them, do something about it. Online petitions aren't going to save vaping, folks. It's the hard stuff, unfortunately, that's going to save vaping, right?
In closing, I'm going to summarize again. Litigation, obviously the first step for the industry, but extremely important. The only vehicle through Congress that's getting traction and bipartisan support currently, it is the Cole-Bishop Amendment, a Republican and a Democrat coming together, proposing an amendment that will stop the bleeding. It will save the industry at its current state and keep all these products on the market and do business as we're doing it now. And that will buy us enough time to create a good legislative strategy to save vaping for the future.
Awesome. I saw what you did up there too, by the way.
What?
I saw that.
I didn't do nothing.
You did that.
What is that? Oh, that's so sweet. Did you write that?
Look at this.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Did you know it was coming? That's why you put that up there?
So yeah, that was. I mean, that was a lot of good information, and you know, it's good to keep a sense of humor.
Yes.
As we do this, you know,
Yes.
I know a lot of people ask me, what do you feel the odds are of us, you know, getting through this? What do you think the odds are of this changing?
It's depressing and it's difficult, but I think that we have a good chance to win. I think that through various outlets, once we present the evidence and the data, I think that we have a good chance to win. Will it be tomorrow? Will it be a year? Will it be 2 years? I don't know. But I'm always optimistic. In fact, when these regulations broke, a lot of people were panicking. I was in England
Yeah,
and
I
my
remember
phone
seeing
was just blowing up. And
I was in California, the same thing happened.
but I was calm and I was collective, and I'm not panicking because finally the uncertainty is over with. We have the regulations in our hand. They're the worst case scenario, and now we're going to deal with it. So we're going to take it one step at a time, attack it, and try to tame the beast.
Yeah, and you know, so and if you do have any questions, I mean, following this video, you watch the video, please send them to me, and I'll forward them to him.
Yes. Or SeviaUSA.org has my email. Obviously, Facebook, anywhere that you want to contact me is fine. Unless it's a question of, I had a anonymous question on Facebook the other day that said, I suggest that we load up trucks with tomatoes and eggplants and go and dump them in front of the FDA.
That'll work.
Folks, that's fun. I'd love to do it. But that is not a suggestion that I can take seriously. We really have two pathways and two pathways only, and those are the ones that we need to be focused on. It's good to have fun, but dumping a bunch of eggplants and tomato in front of the FDA definitely will not gain a lot of credit with Mitch Zeller.
Oh, here's another thing, and like I said, we're going to jump around a little bit. And even though we did some amazing closings, let's keep this going as I think about stuff, okay? And here's one of the things that I thought about. And I've heard a few people say we should do this. We should really do this, and it reminds me of you remember the movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze?
With Patrick Swayze, yeah.
Okay, right. And there was a scene in Roadhouse where they were talking about being nice. You know, what if he calls me a? Well, you be nice. And what if he does this? Well, you get together with another bouncer and you both be nice. And what if he does it? You walk him out, but you both be nice. How will we know when not to be nice anymore? You won't, I will, right?
Right.
Do you feel like there's going to be a time when it will be time to not be nice? What about like a protest or a march? And I'm hearing that a lot, and I know your opinions on it, and I wanted to hear what your opinions were.
I don't think the time is there yet. I don't think we're organized as a group yet. I think it's going to make us look amateuristic and foolish because unfortunately, a lot of people have this mentality that they're going to sit behind the computer and send an email to their congressman, and that's going to solve everything. I think if we even attempted a protest now, we'd get a couple thousand people in Washington blowing clouds. I don't think it's going to accomplish anything, really. I think it's going to make us look even worse in public perception of something that's not on our side currently. That's not how the system works at this current stage. Right now, litigation and legislative action, those are two pathways that are serious for our industry. Every other industry does it. Well, there might be a time that we have to get out there with pitchforks. Quite possibly, there could be. Especially one of our friends gets arrested or gets put in prison for 15 years for trying to save people's lives. Yeah, absolutely. There might be a time that we have to do that.
Yeah, but that was a cool what you just said. Put in prison for 15 years for trying to save people's lives.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, right?
Yeah, but that's the reality. So, and just as angered as you're getting frustrated, I can feel that you're getting frustrated this entire weekend while we've been having conversations. I feel the same way. But I'm trying to take that positively. I'm opening up. I am inviting everybody to come on board. I want to work with everybody that has that same common goal, whether I like them or don't like them, whether we agree 100% or we don't agree 100%. We all can agree on one thing, and that is that vaping is a beautiful thing. Vaping saves lives, and we need to save vaping in order to continue to do that. And that should be our only goal. That should be the only thing that everybody's thinking about, whether you're a cloud chaser, a mouth to longer, build coils, buy pre-made coils, sell high V juice, sell high PG juice. It doesn't really make any difference. If you're a SFATA, or if you're VTA, if you're CASA, if you're AVA, or whatever you are, we all should be on the same page to fight.
So if there was one time that we should come together as a community and ignore all of our differences, I mean, now is kind of the time.
It was 3 days ago when these
Yeah.
regulations was
Yeah.
on 510 day is when we all
5'10". Who the
Five-
hell would have guessed that?
I think
Yeah.
that was just a brutal joke on behalf of Mitch Zeller.
Do you
I
really think so?
I truly believe that. Yeah,
You really think
I
so?
truly believe that. Yes, yes, yes.
Unbelievable.
And listen, guys, there's gonna be a huge push now to dump a lot of product onto consumers. Whether
yeah.
it's coming from China, whether it's coming from the industry itself, people that basically say, "Yeah, I got another year. I'm just gonna try to bank and get out of here." Please pay attention to who you're spending your dollars with. Don't go out there and buy every product that you see, especially from China. There's going to be a lot of new products trying to get in before August the 8th. If you're a shop owner, if you're a distributor, say no. Say, what are you doing first to fight here and keep us in business, and then we're going to buy your products. If you see juice manufacturers trying to dump product that don't plan on being around or not planning on helping and assisting the fight, say no. We don't want your products right now. Unfortunately, there's good and bad in every industry, and there are going to be some people who's going to try to take advantage of this. And have your eyes open, be educated, ask questions, and let's stay proper. Let's stay on the right path.
Stay proper. You're so
Yeah.
proper.
Yeah. I mean, I learned that in England.
In England,
Stay
that's
proper,
right.
Yeah.
That was cool what you were telling me about the study that they did in England, and then somebody asked you in America. If
In
there-
Indiana.
In Indiana.
Yeah.
Tell
yeah.
that story. This is a
Yeah,
good
it was
story.
it was pretty funny because there was the Public Health England study came out last year, which the scientists of Public Health England determined that vaping is at least 95% less harmful, and this suggests that smokers quit, and there's no harm to bystanders and so forth. And so it's a really good study that came out. And Gregory Conley in Indiana presented that study, and the representative basically said, do we have any studies here that are done in the United States? I know that one was done in England, but let's not worry about that. Do we have any studies here?
Yes.
Like, what the hell? Like, our lungs are different than the British lungs? I mean, our accents might be, a little bit colder than us, but our lungs are the same tissues.
Oh my God! These are the people
yeah.
that are making our laws, folks.
Yeah.
This is the stupidity that we have to fight. Unbelievable. Your phone's going off right now.
Yeah, I've got like 15 messages to reply. I'm sure it's the tomato eggplant guy too, sending messages, trying to round up the trucks.
Like literally, Dimitri has become the most painfully boring person to travel with because he has his head in the cell phone constantly. It was like bad before. Now it's just ridiculous
Yeah.
because I mean I know what my inbox looked like when these regs were dropped, right? I can only imagine. What his looks like. And
Yeah.
I'm getting a taste of that, this weekend and when we went out to dinner. And now this is like shooting this video is the longest I have seen him out of his phone.
Yes.
I mean, really.
Yes, and I'm really backed up now. That's where I have to constantly check it. And I'm one of these people that, like you reply to all your YouTube messages.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I want to
Yeah.
reply. I know there's a lot of people that are panicking. I want to comfort them and I want to assure them that we're fighting. And I don't want to leave them hanging for 2 days without an answer. So
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
try to reply to my messages, even eggplant tomato guy. But I try to keep up with what's going on. Plus, it's a very fast moving industry. I mean, at any second, something could happen that we have to alert people or I have to get information. I like to absorb information from a variety of sources, so I have to constantly check my phone. That way, if you ask me a question, as you do multiple times,
I really do.
hey, Dimitri, what do you think about this? Or did you hear about this? I'm able to reply to you and have that information for you and the other people that look to me for information. And plus, it's my job. I mean, I have to consult with the Sevia USA. They have questions all the time with these regulations. There's a gap in the language as well, too, which is always a challenge. The company that I work for, the Vapors, the associations that I represent and I volunteer for. So it's a full-time job being an advocate, and it's definitely the most rewarding job. But it certainly rewards me, and it makes me feel better if I know that I can help, even in a small scale, and I truly enjoy that. After almost 6 years of vaping, I know you and me, if we help somebody quit smoking today, it's just as rewarding and to me as it was 6 years ago.
Of course it is. It's still the one thing that I enjoy most at the vape shows.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, when somebody comes up to you and says, thank you, thanks to you and your videos, or with your help and support, I don't smoke anymore. I mean, that's just a great feeling.
So think
right?
about this as a vapor while you're watching this video. I know that the fact that you quit smoking with vaping is enough reason for you to be passionate to advocate. That should be enough for you to fight. But I know every person from the thousands of people that are going to watch this video has helped at least one or two people within their family or their friend circle quit. How good does that make you feel? And do you want to lose that? Ask yourselves that question, and that should be enough for you to fight for this product.
Maybe now we should wrap it up.
Yeah, unless you can think of anything else.
No, that's pretty good. I know you probably have to go to the bathroom right
There's
now.
no doubt about it. I mean, those meatballs are making their way down.
And the good news is you can take your phone into the bathroom and you can kill two birds with one
I
stone.
can. I'm probably going to have to take a battery pack because my battery's dying again.
As a matter of fact, if there are any birds in that bathroom,
They
they
will
will and truly die.
I feel bad for your cats. They're not used to that kind of smell.
They might shed more.
I tried to go pee earlier and the cat's trying to follow me. I was like, hey, I don't want any audience. Stay back. You might be used to this guy, but...
That's
All right,
it.
folks. Yes.
All
Let's
right.
wrap it up.
Okay, so you know, I still don't consider myself an advocate the way, you know, these guys should be considered advocates. Okay, but what I will do is, you know, if things get important, I'll do videos like this. I will continue to post pertinent information on tasteyourjuice.com, but it is important that you do look at all of the advocacy groups and you get as much information as you can. Christ, if you're not a member of CASA yet, I mean, really, seriously, dude, what are you waiting for? And that's it. Anything else?
Just Smoke Free Radio. I moved the podcast on smokefreeradio.com. I have other hosts, including Phil, that will be doing some shows there. You can directly connect with him. I've got it available on iHeart, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud. Try to get all these avenues to share.
Well,
you can listen to it on your work or your car.
Yeah, and I think at this point, you know, it's important enough that all of your podcasts will be posted up on tasteyourjuice.com,
Yeah,
right?
I think some of these
for
episodes,
the low price of.
Oh my God! But I think that the Smoke Free Radio has a lot of good information, and it's something that you can share. You can listen to it anytime. Just put it in your earbud and try to get the next 2 or 3 episodes are going to be critical with the information that I'm trying to get out there. I was at the TMA, gathered a lot of information, spoken to a lot of people, read the regulations, which a lot of people have not. I spoke to people that have read the regulations, much smarter than me. I've absorbed all the information. I'm going to try to share it out there with everybody. So, yeah, share the podcast around.
Okay, we done?
Yes.
Say goodbye.
See you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you again soon.
Can I taste your juice?